Hi guys, Ryu here, and in this video we're gonna continue with our gun, and we need to assess a few things. One of them is going to be thickness of this gun. I think it's a bit too thin, so we need to thicken it out a bit, okay? So it's really easy done. We can do it in two ways. We could simply select everything after we apply all the mirrors and select the right hand side of the mesh with, in X-ray mode like that. And then we could simply, GX and move parts of the mesh to the right side. Or we could use this empty and actually scale the mesh like that. Or we could combine both methods and we can see, what's going to happen. So before we do anything, what I want to do is I want to select all these bits. So in fact, we could just Shift-G that, click on this empty and Shift-G and immediate children, shift-click this one, right? And Shift-D that. And then let's select, let's go to local view, okay? And let's click on one of these meshes and Q, then operations uniquify. Oh, we cannot do that. So let's just select them one by one and Q operations and uniquify. This will apply unique cutters to each of these. And then we're gonna select everything M. Let's go back and to the full view here and move it to backup. And by doing that, we're gonna have a backup here fully done for the gun. So if we're going to, let's just turn it off. If we're going to do anything with the main mesh, we can still have a backup, to fall back onto. So now here we can try to make it wider. Now, when I make it wider, this gun at the moment is about two units, so two square grids. I want to make it, really wide, almost 4, okay? So we're going to scale it on x-axis to, let's say, maybe, this kind of a size, okay? And we'll see how this looks. You see, that doesn't really look good because it scales the bevels in a way that it just doesn't look appealing. But we could combine these two methods together. So we could scale this a little bit manually first, okay, like this. And then we could grab all these elements, right? And we could apply Smart Apply to apply all the modifiers. So now we're going to go to edit mode to remove all these middle edges here that we don't need. So any edge in the middle that's on the geo needs to go, and I think that's it. Cool. So select all these elements one more time, right? All of them. Go to the top view, orthographic, and let's just with B start selecting everything that's on the right hand side. Make sure you're very precise with this and you don't encroach on the left side, okay? So you select only where it's on the right side. It's really important, okay? So, everything on the right side, right? So here, here, and here, and these two on the end, right? Okay, so all the right side is selected and make sure that everything is perfect. Cool. And now we can actually move it manually. So we can do a GX and literally move it on the x-axis somewhere here, all right? And then we're going to mirror that. So Alt-X, press X to reset the mirror, and boom. And this will add a mirror to everything. I don't know why this part wasn't mirrored, but we can mirror it manually. How about the trigger? The trigger got mirrored? It did, cool. So now you see that should be a bit better. The gun is a bit, is thicker, it looks a bit more believable at the moment, and I think, this is a better design. So that's cool. This one is a little bit thick here. I think I might actually make it a little bit thinner, so I might run a, end gun cut here like this and sort of slice it off. I want this bit to be a bit thinner. That's cool, that's much better. Okay, awesome, cool. So let's check if everything is fine. I think everything is peachy. I don't see any problems. Everything looks good. Trigger looks good. Everything is great. This part here actually could be a little bit lower. So we could select these. This is mirrored, so we can go all the way up to here. Okay. And then we can drop it down, GZ, and drop it down a bit to make this part a bit thicker here. And then we could simply curve this one, here. So curve it. But before we do that, you see we're gonna have some problems here. So we need to sort of create some separation edges here. By the way, this bevel here could use a bit of a fixing because it's a bit of a mess. So let's just grab this edge here and GG and slide it over here. And grab this one and GG and slide it over here. And then we're going to slide this one over here. In fact, we could use machine tools, Alt A, you know, and kind of fix this here a bit here, and you know, there you go. Select this loop and you know, relax to fix it. Same here, you know, right click and relax. It's gonna fix this flow a little bit better. Cool. And now we can run a knife here. So we can run a knife here like this. Press A for straight cut, and boom. And then when I'm gonna bevel this, should be no problem. Awesome. So let's bevel that, and let's just round it up and create, I don't know, 8 segments should be enough. You know, here, something like that. That will look good. So now let's go to the front. You see the barrels now look a bit more believable. This part didn't get scaled, but we can scale it manually. So Shift S and to geometry and SX, and we can scale this. Let me see that. Shift S and to geometry. This one I think has some modifiers. Multiply, Shift S to geometry, SX, and scale it out. And you know, scale it in a way that it's gonna be of the same size as the guns at the bevel here. Scale it a bit more on X so it kind of fits. There we go, perfect. And weight it almost. Awesome. So that's that. Let's just save that because, you know, reasons. Cool. So here in the back, we're gonna create a cutout. I think we're gonna run it here to maybe somewhere over here. Let me think. Yeah, I think this would be interesting. So we can run a cut here like this maybe, and all the way here, and maybe something like this. And we're going to cut it through, press E, and cut it in a little bit, and we're gonna bevel that as well. So B for bevel, and click. And let's make sure that the bevel has a proper amount of segments. So we're going to recover the cutter, and let's just grab this cutter and see what kind of bevel is going on in here. 6 segments, that's perfect, you know. Then here in the front we need a cut as well. So we're gonna grab these 2 bits, and we're going to run a cut here in the front. So we're going to cut it like that here. Maybe even a bit more aggressively like this, and simply cut it through. That's good. Let's see how we're looking. That is looking pretty decent, I think. This one needs to be mirrored, so mirror that to the other side, and everything is good. And this main shape here needs a cut as well. We need to run a cut somewhere here. It's gonna be interesting, and all the way here, and like this, and simply X and slash it. And then we're going to let's leave it alone for the time being, but I will create a separation on this piece later on, and that's good. We need another cut here in the front, so let's just cut this front here as well. So let's cut that and go all the way here. Let's see, somewhere here maybe, and let's grab this dot here and GY, and you know, really stretch it. And this is gonna be a bevel here, so let's go with 6 segments. I think it's enough, and you know, boom. And our gun starts shaping up slowly. On the top is gonna be a scope, but we're gonna be working on this separately. Here in the bottom we need this canister, but I think we can do this later. Now these, let me see that. This should be lower. Should be somewhere here, I think. Cool. And this should be a little bit lower too, somewhere here. So this front here, for these two, the bevel is too crazy. We need to make the bevel smaller. I mean, remember, this is a metal, you know, like a kind of a steel, so it should be a little bit more harsh. Here we can cut this, press X 3 times and slash it through one more time. Let's grab a box and slash it like this here and go through. and then press X 3 times and press T, and we can solidify this, okay, to maybe this size, all right, for the time being. And then we're going to Shift D this cutter, Shift D this cutter here, and we're going to unparent it, so Alt P and unparent it, and we're going to parent it to this shape, right? So we're going to Boolean and inset, boom, and let me see that, solidify, there we go, and shift 2. I'm thinking that this top barrel here could be of a different shape, you know. So what we can do is go to operations and go to to shape, and you know, exchange the shape. So remove this one and grab this one and apply scale, and we're gonna go here and we're going to scale this. Let's just apply a loop here like this, and we're gonna scale that like that. I think it's gonna be a bit more interesting, something like this. And then we can grab that and we can split it, okay, and scroll down, split it like this, all right. And we could actually grab these, okay, and this one with Shift Alt A and to the right, so that's straight, and grab this one and scale it in on X, and then we're going to symmetrize it, so Alt X D, symmetry, and to the other side. So it's quite interesting, it's a little bit different. Let's bevel this and, you know, apply weighted normals, and now we can sort of cut it a bit differently. So I think it might be a bit more interesting this way. So let's you know, let's fix this sharpen problem here. So we're gonna shift click on sharpen and move our mouse to the right, and you can see that on the bottom auto smooth changes angle until you catch both angles. It's about 90 degrees, and you know, we're good to go. The same we need to do with the bevel, by the way. So we need to go to bevel, and press 1 to fix the angle, and then Q, bevel, and hold Alt and scroll down until you catch both, you know, both edges, okay. And you'll see that you can adjust here on the bottom, you see that the angle auto smooth, okay. And when you scroll with your mouse, you can, you know, you can find the minimum angle you need for this bevel to work. So let's just, you know, bevel this and that and weighted normals, and then we can have some fun. So, you know, first things first, we're gonna create a cutout in the middle with a circle. So let's grab a circle, and we're gonna enable this snap dot and hold Control, draw a circle, and on the top left here you can see a number of verts, right? So, you know, let's create something like this, and let's see, I think this could be a bit bigger. So have a scroll, and let's you know, click, and let's make it a bit bigger. G, Z, let's drop it down somewhere here, I suppose, you know, could do. And I think that's pretty cool. This should do, I think. Awesome. And we're going to create a cutout here. Here we're gonna cut it as well. So let's go back. So here we're going to cut it with a square and cut it through like that, and press X 3 times and just click. Now we can just register this cutter here. We can play with it a bit later. So now with this done, I think this cutout is a bit too big here in the middle. Select this shape here, have a scroll, a circle, and just scale this, Shift Y, and I just scale it a little bit in, you know, and this should do, I think. And our other cutter disappeared right now. So have a scroll here, let's make it bigger. There we go. Tell you what, let's remove this boolean because it's gonna be a bastard. We're gonna do this differently later on. Let's focus on this barrel. So let's sharpen this, and let's select this circle here, but we don't need these, so we can dissolve these edges. And these could be run a bit better, so we could run them here, okay? And we could select this this bit here and chamfer it. That's the first thing we can do, right? So chamfer this front, that's one. And then we're gonna go to box cutter, D and gone, and we're going to cut this here, like that, and press E and, you know, cut it all the way, and shift click. Okay, and I think I might actually shift it, so go here and shift bool, which will shift it to a sort of a cut, and then we can have some fun with it. So for instance, we could cut it with box, so we could select this one and cut it with a box, right? So one more time, slash it with a box. And how we looking? We're looking pretty good. So have a scroll and G, Z, and drop it down a bit. Okay, and then we can have, you know, an end-on cut here. So we could have end-on cut here. Boom. All right, that is interesting. I like it. And like I said, here in the front, we could definitely have some interesting cuts. So here, let's apply the modifiers. So operations and multiply. Let's select this bit here, and, you know, let's inset it. So I to inset it, okay, a bit, and E to extrude it a little bit, like that. It's a little bit too close here, in my opinion, to the edge. This is a little bit tight, yeah. So what we could do is, you know, select this middle bit and select all the circular bits here, okay, and make it a bit smaller. So with control, okay, and all these, and then front view, right, and S shift Y, and we're gonna scale it in a little bit. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller. GZ, you can move it a bit to the top. So when I mirror this, it's not gonna be looking feeble, you know. So I mirror this one, all right, this one across as well. Boom, right. So here, and press X and then mirror, and you got this sorted, looking pretty good. This could be a little bit longer, I mean, you know, sort of sticking out a bit more. So GY, and, you know, a little bit more here, and then we can have some more fun with it later on. Okay, so here we will hold control and draw a circle, and we're just gonna drag it all the way to the end. Okay, cool. And for some reason that is not straight, which is interesting. Huh. Let me see that. I have a scroll. This is not straight, is it? Wow. That's actually kind of interesting. So it would mean that, hang on, it would mean that this front face isn't actually straight. Let me see that. Let's remove this boolean here, and remove this boolean, and let's make sure this face is flat. So SY0, okay. Then let's go to the front view one more time, and let's just try this again. Hold control and cut it. There we go. There was some kind of a, you know, something was skewed. So here we're going to select that and cut through with bevel, right? If it works at all. One more time. Cut through, press B for bevel. Scroll to maybe, I would say 4 segments is enough. And make sure that the quad bevel is turned off. And shift click to apply this. Let's see how we're looking. I think we're looking pretty decent. S, Z, Z, and let's see if we can go through. Or in fact, we don't have to go through, we could just go, you know, could just go like this. This also will work. And then Q and array, and we could array this along this rifle here. Not the whole length, mind you. Let me see that. There's gonna be a handle here anyway, so we can just go to maybe somewhere, I don't know, somewhere here. That should do. And mirror this to the other side, right? And this modifier here, the circular one, we can apply this, which is this one. So let's apply it. And go to edit mode, and let's fix these, because, you know, disaster. This needs to be 90 degrees here for better chamfers. Dissolve that. Select this entire edge here. And, you know, let's chamfer it, right? The bevel is too big, so we're gonna make it smaller. Make it a bit more metal-like. There we go. You know, perfect. This bit here should be cut with an end gun, so we're going to cut it. Maybe somewhere from here. And all the way down, you know, to somewhere, I would say that's actually too far. Maybe somewhere here. Something like that. I don't want this, you know, distance from here to here and from here to here be the same. So either we're gonna go deeper or we're gonna go shallower. Maybe we're gonna go shallower like this. You know, this could work. Ever scroll and just move this up a little bit so it's not so deep. And make sure that the circular cut doesn't pierce through, okay, this part, because it will make no bloody sense, right? So now, you know, we could move this one a little bit here. So either here or here. I'll have to decide later, okay, so I'm gonna keep it live. Here in the front we can have another cut. So we could have another cut here. Press B, and let's make it, you know, 4 segments, and just cut it in, and boom. And here we need a cut as well, so just cut it like that, and go through XXX, and then simply T, make it a bit thicker. See, this circle is really, really, really tight. I mean, this is really tight here. I think it's too tight. Let's do the same thing, okay? So just select everything, go to front view, S, Shift Y, and just scale it in. You know, it's just too much. Too much. Something like this, maybe. That's an interesting result, and it's because of this cutter here. So it's because of the last cutter, this one. So let's just remove this cutter for a second and see what we're getting. This could work actually. Let's just apply weighted normals. Oh, this one is applied, right? Okay, cool. So let's go here to the side view again, and let's just cut this one more time. Let's try. Okay, so cut it through XXX, and then T, and let's just solidify it down a bit, and click. Now let's recover the cutter, and let's play with solidification, you know, a little bit. We could change it to exact, so boolean, you know, exact. Yeah, there's exact already. Cool. Let me see how this looks. Yeah, it looks okay. And we could just create another cut here. So Shift V and view mode, and we could just slice it in here to create some interesting opening on the bottom. Cool. So that will do, and this would be our, you know, our front. And I think then we can move on to, I would say we move on to the back, and we're gonna finish the stock. There are a few things here I would like to fix and cut. Need some cuts in here, cuts in the stock to make it a bit more airy, because it's a little bit thick. So, you know, we need to fix that. And then we can move on to this trigger. This trigger, I think maybe we can move a little bit to the front, to the back. It's really easy to do, because all I need to do is select both of them, go to edit mode, and select this face here. Let's select this face here, and let's just go to local view. And this face here, this face, and we're gonna have to select this one as well. And this one can be left alone, I think, in GY, and you can move this very easily. So then I'm gonna select this trigger, go to edit mode, and simply press L over here, hovering this trigger, and then I can move everything, you know, on this axis, right? So I can move this a little bit to the right, just a bit, you know, so this part here is a bit thicker, and then I can move this one, GG, and just simply move it closer, so GY, and move it closer here, and everything gonna be peachy, okay? So it kind of move this trigger a little bit to the back, to make it appear a bit more robust. This one needs moving, GG, and you know, move it somewhere here. There you go, and sorted. All right, I think that's it for this one, guys. In next one, we're gonna continue with you know, mid details, because that's what we're doing. We're gonna add some trigger here, make a hole, and make some cutouts on this one. And then we can move on to creating the bottom canister, whatever it is, and then we can move on to the top and finish the scope. So we're slowly getting there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.